Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to my channel, and today in this video we are going to address an issue which we have in our application. That is, I'm not able to see any issue that is closed. All of these are open issues, and if I go to my database, you will see there is one which is in the state of closed, and the issue name is merge request data. So if I change this to open, and if I refresh, there's one more added over here. So the question is, how do I address this problem? Well, one very simple way is that I thought of is to have two tabs, open and close. So what will happen is I can switch between them. And this is what I will address in this video. So without wasting much time, let's get started. To develop this feature, let's try and understand what is the first test that we will need to write. We will need to write tests which confirm that when I'm on this page, as you can see this query parameter, when I don't have anything on this page in terms of query parameters, it is showing me only the opened issues. So let me go to my PHP Storm and open up the page issues list test. I'll add a new one. And the name is show only opened issues when no query is passed. So over here, what I'm planning to do is I'll first obviously create a user because this is a route which needs authentication. Then I'll create a project because when we are going to the issue list, we need to have a project. In that context, we will create those issues. And I'll have two issues that I'll create through my factory. One is an open issue and one is a closed issue. Because if you remember, in my factory, I have two states for an issue. One is the normal, and then the other one is closed, where the state is marked as closed. So what I will do is create that, and then I'll assert that right now, in this scenario, when no query parameters are passed, it shows me only the opened issue. So the closed issue should not be visible. So I have my user. So this is my user, project, and then the open issue. I'll also need a closed one. I have a state, so I'll define that. And this one is closed or maybe inactive. Okay, so this is my thing. Now, as a logged in user, what I will do is, oops, I'll go to the route, issues index. This route needs the project as a parameter, so I'll pass that. Then I'll assert C, open issue title. Awesome, it is automatically trying to suggest that. Assert don't see. Okay, I made a mistake. Can you see? This should be closed. Okay, and it did get that autocomplete. And the last one is obviously assert okay. So this is my test. Now this ideally should pass. Okay, it is not. Let me see why. It says failed asserting that this entire markup contains active issue title. And what could be the reason? Okay, that's not project ID, it's project, not project ID, because the issue is mapped on that. Now this should be green. Now we haven't written any code, but this is a test for my default behavior when the query parameter is not there. Now the next thing that I would like to do is have it when I have a query parameter as open. So I'm saying that it shows only opened issues when open state is passed. In here, what I will do is just write this test where I have a state being passed. So what happens is, if I do a diadump of this, you will see it is passing. So first it will try to fulfill all the route parameters which are required, and then anything additional becomes query parameter. So the URL becomes question mark state equals open, and that is how we will go to that URL. And what I'm saying is, if I go to this URL, this test should pass because I should continue to see open issue title and I should continue to not see the closed issue title, which is obviously happening. But the next test basically is that if I pass it a close, for example, I should see, okay, I was trying to show you the other one, but obviously it will fail because I need to change the query. So what this time I will do is it shows only closed issues when closed state is passed. Now, the first two tests are already passing, and I know I could have skipped it, but I think it is better because although if I make any code changes, there will be multiple tests which will fail, but at least the tests will tell me that these functionalities are breaking, and that is what I wanted. So I felt this is something which is required. Otherwise, I could have directly done that if closed issue is passed, then test for it. But I thought it will be an incomplete test. It is not covering all the scenarios of that particular functionality, and hence it makes sense to add that. Now, in here, I'll pass the closed. I need to assert C the closed title, and I should not see the open issue title. And now if I run, it fails. Obviously it will. So let's try to make our test pass. The first thing we need to do is actually pass the state into the where clause, right? For that, what I will do is take the state from the query parameter. So let's get our request in place. I'll have a state variable which will be equal to state, and it allows us to add a default value. So what I will do is issue state enum open value is the default one. So if I don't see or if I don't get anything in my query param, then I have this. Okay, let me get rid of that thing. Now, one important aspect. See, this state is coming as a query parameter. It's an input from the user. So it is very important that we completely control what values are going to come from the user, because they can literally send us any damn thing. However, we need to ensure that we get only the values which we understand, and if there is anything else, then we don't process it. For example, who is stopping a user from, and if he knows that I have this kind of a query param, say all, and then what do I do? I don't have a parameter called all, and if then my where condition is suddenly looking like state, dollar state, which is all, everything is going for a toss, right? So to handle this scenario in a better way, what I will do is, so I like this way of checking things, which is if my state is not in the array of these values, okay, and what happens is, I'll show you. Can I go to Tinker? So these values give me these two values in an array. So what I'm doing is I'm saying if state is not in this array, I don't understand it. Okay. It did some kind of an auto thingy, which is not what I wanted. I think this is the pint which is doing its magic. So throw new. This I will consider as a bad request. So I'll raise an exception saying invalid issue state. All right. Now we can move over here. We have already changed the state. So now if I refresh going into Chrome, can you see it says bad request, which is true. And then if I do open, it shows me opened. If I do closed, it doesn't show me because there are no closed tickets. So why don't I close one? And now if I refresh, I can see the closed one, which basically means if I go to my test now, run it, it is green. All right, so this is the basic code that was required to create the functionality. But then the question is, how does the user navigate? Well, that's pretty straightforward, right? What I will do is, let me go to the index page. What I mean is index blade, and in here I'll add some markup. So this is what I have. I have the markup with this tab list. This is Daisy UI tabs component. So if I refresh, you'll see I have this tab in the wrong place. Yeah, now it is fine. So if I do this, it's on opened, otherwise it is closed. And what if I directly go to issues? Well, none of them are active. This is problem. Although I'm able to, whenever I click, they are on the current state. So what I can do is, what I'm thinking, first of all, I have this check over here for the class that if my input state is open, then I have tag active, otherwise no class. Similar for closed. So why don't I just do one thing, pass this state to the view. And then what I can do is, instead of this request, if I simply do state on closed, this is fine, open, this is fine. And now when I don't have any query parameter, because the state inside the controller, we are giving this a default state of open, it is just working fine. With very minimal change, we were able to get this to work. But things don't end up over here. I have some logic over here. And what I'm thinking is to make it a little more simple in the controller, I would like to move this into a service. so that the data is coming from the service and I'm able to just test the results coming from that service. However, this is something which I'll address in the next video. I will give you some time, try and see if you're able to do it. If not, in the next video, we will address that. So yeah, that's about it guys. That's what I wanted to cover in this video. If you like this video, then do click on the thumbs up icon and don't forget to subscribe to my channel.